Kia ora, my name's Matt and I'm building a Sopwith Camel. I'm back. I've been away for 6 months. I must admit I've been back for about 4 weeks now, cracking on with essentially boring stuff like sanding and varnishing ribs. So I've got a little bit of footage around that, and I've acquired a couple of other bits and pieces in the last 4 weeks as well. So hopefully this will catch up on where I'm at and what I'm doing, and yeah, let's get on with it. These are wing roots. I've glued some previous wing roots which had these at an angle to create a 5-degree dihedral. These ones are straight, these wing roots, and they cover the entire length of the wing. You might see that's a little bit shiny. Somebody a while ago suggested putting packing tape on the form to stop the glue sticking to it, which is an eminently sensible idea, so I've given that a go. Fingers crossed that'll work right, and even if it does glue to the tape I don't care. These are the remaining 7 wing roots, which I'm now tackling. They're all cut and made. These are the bottom caps, along with a little triangle of wood glued to the bottom there. So these are all going to these. I thought I might also show you this as well. I've picked this up from Cam's, a local manufacturing company for World War II aircraft. And this is a fuel pulser. So the fuel, it's one way valve going in, and as the fuel pumps, it pulses inside the glass, giving the pilot an optical as to whether fuel's working okay or not. I suspect one's for fuel, the other one's probably for oil, which it uses at almost the same rate. Behind it, over here, lots of used up little measuring cups for the T88. This is about half of what I've done, the other half are in the bin. What else have I got here? I think I've shown before, possibly I've taken video and not shown it, but over here I have a DC motor. I've taken an interest in treadmill motors, having watched a couple of videos online, looking to solve the problem of how do I convert a wood bandsaw into one that cuts metal. And there's 2 things you need to do. One is obviously get a wood cutting saw blade, but the other one is slow the saw blade down by about 10 times. So at the moment, that motor there and that gearing suits wood cutting, but if you try doing that with metal, because the blade moves so fast, you end up tempering or hardening the blade, and the blade will end up shattering. So what I'm planning to do is use a DC motor, spinning back around, this one, and DC motor changes speed in direct relation to how much power it's getting, and that combined with a couple of bits of electronics to change alternating current to direct current, hopefully will end up working the trick for this bandsaw. This is the order of 4130 anneal that I got, and I'm about to treat it with some, I don't know if you can see that, long life anti-rust lubricant. It could be a while before I use up the last of this, so I don't want to go rusty in the meantime, and fingers crossed this stuff will do the trick with as far as keeping moisture and humidity off the sheets while they're waiting to be processed. I'm going to put them inside the shed, raised up on a couple of blocks and just stacked up against each other, so fingers crossed this will do the trick. These are 2 magneto switches for my Sopwith Camel. If you're thinking they're looking like household light switches, old school brass light switches, you're absolutely right, that's exactly what they are. Turns out these were exported to New Zealand as well, although they're much harder to come by over here than they are in the UK. But these were sourced locally. Somebody's obviously renovating their villa, so I've snaffled those up. 2 old school Craig Osborne compasses, zero compasses. The one on the right is the one for the Sopwith Camel. It's a Type 517, and the one on the left is a Type 256, and it's huge. It's about 6 to 8 times the size of the one on the 517, and weighs about 4 kgs. All I can think of is must have been a huge aircraft to carry this. I'm struggling to find information. The best info I've got so far hints that it was an observer's compass in a 2-seater. This is aircraft epoxy varnish, and it's the first time I've used it. I've had it on the shelf for a few months now. What I'm about to varnish is 4 of these half ribs. I've got that hanging there just to see if it do for a drying spot. Once I've got these varnished, I'll close the garage and I've got to go off and do other jobs. But I wanted to give this a go first. So those 4 ribs, half ribs, are all sanded and prepped, and I'm about to see how far this goes. So it's pretty much, where are we? Here we go, varnish. So pretty much 2 parts of that to 1 part of that. Mix, let it sit for 30 minutes. Refers to as an induction period, which apparently allows it to catalyse or do whatever it's got to do. After that, you then thin it down by 50% using the thinners, and then you're good to go. So it's a bit of a process. Strictly speaking, it's not necessary for these half ribs. This is the sort of a epoxy varnish you want to put around the motor, anywhere with this gasoline involved, that kind of thing. But it does no harm to put it on these, and I'd rather practice on something which is not quite as important. This needs at least 2 or 3 coats as well. So I'll have to do these 4 again in the next couple of days, and then crack on with some more. So to start with, I'm going to use one of these cups as a unit, and I'll see how far that gets me. Second hurdle after getting these darn tops off is instruction to cut this out. I have no idea, without contaminating whatever's inside. Looks like a pair of tin sips going to do the job. Right, so it's a pop out cap, which came out easier the second time because I had a better idea what I was doing. Right, that's 2 parts varnish to 1 part catalyst. Now wait for 30 minutes. Make a cup of coffee. That's 6 half ribs epoxy varnished. They look quite good actually. I'm quite mildly impressed with that. I've obviously mixed way too much. I'll try that at hand, but figure these things out as I go. So I've got truckloads left. I would guess I've used maybe 1/3 of what I mixed up. And unfortunately this has got a pot life of about 5 hours, so by the time I get back to it I'll have to throw that out and start again. But that's okay. You figure these things out as you go. So that's 6 done, and I've got another 18 here. As well as top coats, of course. Well, the weather's definitely turned. It's dropped from 28 degrees during the day to 6 degrees this morning. Right now it's around about 9, hence the woolly hat. But I've got some time to do a little bit of work. I can't do any gluing at the moment. Well, I could, but I don't want to because the temperature dropped. So I'm just sanding stuff at the moment, which isn't particularly exciting. You don't really want to watch a video of somebody sanding things, but I'll show you what I've done so far. So pretty much I'm doing these half ribs, just sitting in the shade. Probably could sit in the sun, but never mind. With a cup of coffee, just stopped to make another one. At least 3 this morning. Sanded those. That rib's in there ready to be glued. And I've got the other 3 over here. So this is the first one. I didn't glue that surface because I wasn't too sure. Well, at the time I thought I'd just glue the top one and the tail edge, but as I discovered with the next ones, I could actually quite comfortably glue that as well. So I'm just waiting until I've got some excess glue to catch this one up. What I haven't done on any of them so far is glue the very front nose rib, because I think there might be some extra heavy clamping involved, particularly with gaps just in there. But I'll cross that bridge a little bit later once I've got all these glued up. Sanding wise, so these 6 here have all had a top coat on, the first top coat. They all need to be sanded back again, and these ones from here onwards have all been sanded, and all the other ones are sitting beside me ready to be sanded. So I'll get through those this morning, and I'll aim to catch these ones up with a top coat probably on the weekend, and then I can lightly sand them again and put a second top coat on, and those should be done. Fingers crossed. This is somewhat annoying. This is a workshop accident. Basically fell from the peg it was on, hit the ground and decided to shatter. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure I'm going to have to make up a couple more of these anyway, but it's like, nah, you just don't need it. On the plus side, sorry, I was flicking this through my fingers. On the plus side, the glue's held really well. That's clearly a break in the timber, not in the glue. So that's encouraging. What I intend to do with this, because I obviously can't use it, I can't repair it and use it for aircraft, is I'm going to mark it with orange paint. I'll then repair it. I'll carry on varnishing, it's had one coat already, and I'll end up using it as a wall display, possibly with an aileron sticking off the end of it, because this is that's what happens on the end of this one. But yeah, disappointing. I hope I don't do that again. Fingers crossed. This is around about half the half ribs, all varnished up and ready to go into storage. I've still got to put parts numbers on them, but I'm just hunting down details as to what those look like. I know what the numbers are, but how were they originally applied in the first place? And the best info I've got so far is with purple ink and stamps. So I'm just trying to track down what those stamps might look like and see if I can get some original photographs, try and match up with them. The other half have been top coated as well. I'm just waiting for them to dry. Familiar sight, black ends of timber sticking out from the shed. Except this time, these 6 sticks are all ash. Managed to get it in. I haven't tried closing the door yet, but should be able to make it. Just. It really is just. One of them started splitting badly already, which was this one, I think, in the middle. It doesn't look very promising, but just got to wait it out and see what happens. Yeah, took a decent sized trailer. So much for wanting to get it on the top of the truck while I was in Napier. So that'll hopefully give me the longerons I need, plus a little bit more. But it seemed like too nice a timber to leave sitting there to be turned into floorboards. So I'll let that dry. That's going to take a wee while, probably a couple of years. That's quite thick timber, possibly longer than that. But I'm not in a hurry. I've got to make brackets and stuff for the fuselage first. So that'll sit there for about 3 weeks, maybe 4, and then it's being shifted to a new garage. A quick shout out to Scott Matthews, who's building a aerodromes reproduction in Australia. Watching your video last night, and as you're apologising for the mess on your bench, I was at exactly the same time thinking, man, I wish I had a hanger. So much storage space, you can have clear benches. In comparison, my garage is rather busy. Which I don't mind, but I'd also like a lot more clear bench space, but I don't have the storage space, and what storage space I do have is all chock-a-block full of timber. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. But loving your work, Scott, and really envious that you're able to move so fast and spend so much time on it. In about 3-4 weeks time, we're actually moving house. The new garage is going to be slightly larger, a little bit longer, and about 1 foot wider. So not a huge amount larger, but hopefully enough to make a little bit of difference getting around the incredibly large amount of timber I've got stored here. So that's coming up soon. In the meantime, I hope you're looking after yourself, and I'll see you again soon.